Hi guys and welcome back to Cinema. Today we have a new video on the channel and this one will be a new series. This is the first part of so many parts I'm going to make it, but this is me ranking movie posters and what I like and what I dislike about each movie poster. So a couple of months ago on my film reviewing Instagram account, I posted what movie posters do you want me to review? I've got a photo on video and I've got a few responses, and these are 10 of them. So I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy my take on these 10 posters of what I like and what I don't like about these movie posters. So let's get into it. Alright, for poster number one, we have Total Recall. So as you see, the poster has Arnold in the centre, and he's got his centre face. You've got this like red stripes coming out of him, like sort of like towards the viewer, towards the person looking at the poster. And you have it's sort of like a red background, a red planet with like with like a ship and some mountains. And this is for me why what I like and what I dislike. So first off, let's talk about what I like. So at first of all, I love the colour scheme. The colour scheme is brilliant with how red it is, and it fits the whole alienated vibe that it's going for. You've got the darkness, like the space at the back of Arnold's head, but it's all merged with this red mist and fog that's going around it. And I think the colouring and the way it's presented is very nice and very beautiful. I love the Arnold Schwarzenegger text on the top of the poster, and I also like the Total Recall font. What I don't like, there's only one thing I really don't like from this poster, and that's Arnold himself on the poster. It looks a bit cheesy, in more say at least, in more like he's looking directly at you, but it feels off with the whole poster thing. I feel like if he was in a different pose, like his face was in a different pose, it might have been a bit more less, well, a bit more serious and less goofy. But then taking it out might also make it better. But for me, it's still a good poster. It shows a bit of the story. It's very vague without telling us too much, but it tells a bit about what it is. It looks like something to do with space or something about a futuristic world or something. So, for me, this movie poster is a 4 out of 5. The next movie poster is A Girl Who Walks Alone at Night. Now, this one has, for me, it's very much unique compared to the Total Recall poster. But let's go by what I like and what I dislike. So what I like is it's a very unique design, and it's a very simple design, and there's just like one um, figure with a red background, and you've got the font in the middle. So you've got black and red, which is a nice contrast of colours. Well, it's a nice mix of colours also, because it's very bright and you've got darkness also. But I more don't like this poster than I like it. I think it's that simple and that vague that gives you nothing about the film in general, not even any clues of what it is, which for some people may seem very interesting or may seem very much like they want to watch it and engage, going, oh, because I don't know anything about it, I need to check it out. And it gives you that feeling of emptiness in with this poster in general. And I also don't like how, well, the theme is very offbeat. We don't know if the theme, like the other one, you can tell the theme's like a dystopian alien world. This one, it feels more like a cartoon or like an animation than it does with like an actual feature film or thriller or anything. Yes, the font does help capture its more theme being towards more like horror or thriller, but we don't really know in general. So for me, for this poster, unfortunately, because of how many things I don't like about it instead of like it, for me, 2 out of 5. The next one I have is The Nun 2. Now this poster off the bat for me is amazing. The colours are definitely the thing that grips me into this poster, wanting me to watch the whole film. So you've got the main nun from the first film, and it looks like they're both in sort of like a box where people used to like talk to like um, the fathers of the church about sinning, and you've got the protagonist holding a cross, being scared. We've got the sunlight pouring into her face, and she looks terrified. And there's light on one side, but then on the other box you've got the nun, and she looks absolutely terrified facing her. She's got a dark green background. It's more like an orangey yellow eyes. It's got darkness coming from one edge. It's like she's trying, like the other nun is trying to suppress the danger and the threat that's on the other side, and it really makes me feel scared and sympathetic for that character, and knowing that, oh no, we faced her once, but this is her returning, so she hasn't defeated her once and for all. And I think the lighting really helps, and it gives a good, well, it doesn't give it a good atmosphere, it gives it a great and gripping atmosphere. And the tension just in this, it feels like definitely this has been, this is a picture of a screenshot of a scene of a of one of the scenes in the movie. It's that well lit and that well shown. I don't really like the way they put the nun, like the, oh, what's it called, like the font, but everything else is just amazing. And I can't think of any actual bad negatives about this poster. It looks marvelous. I would love to have one. That's how good it is. For me, it's a 5 out of 5. It's a brilliant poster, and it really amps up the terror. And we know exactly what it is. You can tell it's a horror by the colours and the emotion and the feeling and the atmosphere. You can tell it's something to be excited for. This, if someone showed me this and went, "Are you going to watch this?" Just after looking at the poster, I would say yes, definitely. This is a 5 out of 5 poster. The Nun 2 gets a 5 out of 5. And then we go to a famous poster now. This is a film that a lot of people know. It's very much a cult classic, I would say, and that is The Taxi Driver. So this is very simple, like the first two, where there's not that much going on, and it's more simple to the second poster where it's just one individual, but this one tells a story. As I already know, it's a bit of background, which is a bit of bias for me for this poster, that knowing that The Taxi Driver is about this singular person, that having him being the centre point of the poster makes total sense. You've got this great noir background, which is like sort of like feels like a 1930s or 1940s gangster, with all the dark colours, but it's very realistic too. You've got the taxi being the thing that's standing out as that's bright yellow, while the things are dark colours. And what I also think is great is I like the cut in the bottom where it cuts the image and makes all yellow taxi driver, and I think that stands out very, very well. Now, what I don't like about it is it's very vague, it doesn't tell you that much about it. It was very simple and effective and very character driven. The font is a bit in your face. It's not perfect. I think if they touched up a little bit more, it could be a bit better because it's slightly grainy on the poster. But I think that adds to it. So for me, it's a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's a marvelous poster to show a marvelous film. So 4.5 out of 5. The next poster we have is the 2000s horror film The Descent. Now, off the bat, I don't like this poster. There's one thing why I like it, and the rest I don't really like. So the thing I like is it's very unique with making a skull out of people, like the legs being the teeth and the arms being like the face of the skull. I think that's very unique. Everything else I don't like. So I don't like the border around about the small text in like R-rated in the studios. I think it's a bit like not cheesy, but a bit clunky and a bit, I don't know, just a bit boring. I know they're trying to make a different approach, but it doesn't feel effective. You've also got the colour grade, which is like a goldy yellow, which reminds me more of the Goonies than anything else. Which I think for like a thriller slash horror, I don't think it's supposed to relate itself to a comedy from the 80s. But I don't like the greeny orangey tint to the show in the poster either. You've also got where the Even the font looks a bit terrible and doesn't look very, very good. For me, for the Descent poster, definitely a 1.5 out of 5. Next off, we have is one of my favourite films of all time. And I think this poster is very different to all the ones we've just reviewed so far, and that is The Truman Show. Now, this poster is looks like a normal poster, but if you look very deeply, it's so detailed, so well detailed. So you've got a picture of just Truman, played by Jim Carrey. You've got on the bottom of the box saying The Truman Show. And but if you look very, 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 very closely, or just zoom in at the poster or the image of the poster, you will see that every little square that makes Truman is a scene from the film. And I think that is very, very, very clever. So every single spot, like every single like little square you see of the movie poster is a scene from the film. And I think it does spoil the film, but it's one of those where you'll only spoil it if you're looking for it. If you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. And I think it's a very clever poster. And that's why I think for The Truman Show, it's a great film. Centerpiece is Truman, so it makes sense him being the actual centerpiece of the poster, but making it so clever that you see different scenes in the actual poster where literally you don't have to watch the movie. If you watch if you look at the poster frame by frame, that's probably about 40 minutes of the film already, just laid out there for you in picture quality. And I think for all of it, of that creativity, I can't think of anything bad. Probably the border of the Truman Show is a bit goofy, but I think it's intentional for it being supposed to be sort of like a sitcom or like a sort of like life story, so it's supposed to be something boring and plain. So my overall rating for the Truman Show poster is a 5 out of 5. Then we have our next poster, which is the Cube. Now this is another one which I don't like. It's not as bad as The Descent, but it's still not pretty good for me. I do like the quote that it has on the bottom, and the man's face being a cube, and also the feeling of being, what's the word, claustrophobic, as the darkness is slowly dissolving, or slowly eating the light, and slowly getting towards him. And you can see that with everything being dark except a few panels being all orange and the word cube. What I don't like about it is the 3D version of Cube. Obviously, because it's Cube 3D, of course, and 2000 was big on 3D when it came back, but just the word Cube in 3D just looks tacky. Very, very tacky. The colour of the orange looks, or the orangey slash red looks tacky as well. And the person looks a bit silly in the colour scheme too. Overall rating, the Cube poster is a 2 out of 5. The next one is, it's a very good film. It's a Christopher Nolan film. It is Interstellar. Now, this is another like one person, one character shot, and it's another clever poster. Not as clever as Truman Show, I'd say. I think that's the cleverest one we've seen so far, but it is a good one. So this is the astronaut that's obviously in Interstellar, and he's in a snowy planet. So you can tell. I love the snow in it. There's so many tiny details in this poster, like the snow, how the character's color reflects the background, so actually merges into the background, which symbolizes his loss, like how he's probably like lost in space. He's lost on that planet. No one will see him. But that is really it. I like about it. It's another one character piece, but it's just him looking in an astronaut suit, and it doesn't look that interesting for me. So for that reason only, it's gone down. But it's still like a sort of beautiful poster. So for Interstellar, and I haven't said that much about this poster, but it's a very much empty poster. It's very vague, and just gives you the theme of loss, of being lost, and being abandoned, which I think is what the whole film is about. So my overall rating for Interstellar is a 3.5 out of 5 for the poster. Then we have our next poster, which is The Love Witch. Now, this is a magnificent poster. This looks like a work of art, like a painting, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. You've got the dark colours of the, as I would guess, antagonist slash protagonist. You've got the darkness in the background, but it's in like a sort of oil painting. You've got sort of the red, you've got the necklace and the red on her chest, like the blood. But it just looks like a work of art. It just looks like a painting, and that's what's good about it. I think what also adds the texture is it's got a white background, which makes it look like a portrait. And I think it's beautiful in that right. The inking looks magnificent. The colouring looks magnificent. You can tell she's like a woman in status or status, like she's an important figure. Probably in the film she is an important figure, but she's got like a sort of danger to her. The font is the same. The font is like a sort of devilish vampiric font, and I think it works magnificently. This, for me, I don't think it's as clever as the Truman Show. I don't think it's as gripping and atmospheric as the Nun 2. So for me, it's a 4 out of 5. And finally, the 10th poster I will be reviewing is one of the most iconic films for any film lover or anyone who watches films in general. We have The Thing by Steven Spielberg. Now, this is an iconic poster. No one can doubt that. It's one of those posters that everyone remembers. They've probably seen it in movies as a cameo, or I've just seen it by and go, oh man, I remember that poster. It's a truly iconic poster. Everyone's seen it. You've got a silhouette of a guy, of sort of humanoid figure in a hood, but then the light is peering through, so you don't know what it is. You've got the icy cold background. You've got in sort of like hexagonal shape sort of things, or they're sticking out. You've got all the dark blue colours merging with the white. You've got the font being the big The Thing. And for me, I can't think of anything better. Anything so iconic. It's one of those, it's up there for me for my top 5 iconic posters. And hopefully you move on to the others. But this is an iconic poster. It is beautiful. It is dark, blue, light. It's very mysterious. It gives that eerie, scary feeling of not knowing what it is. You are gripped in. You're like, what is this? What is this film about? We don't know, but it looks like something mysterious. Something doesn't give you anything, but it gives you everything at the same time. For me, this is great. So my overall ranking for The Thing movie poster is a 5 out of 5. And that's it for today's video of Cine Willet. So this is all my movie posters that I reviewed, part 1. And hopefully you like, comment and subscribe. And if you have any more suggestions for movie posters, just comment them below in this video and I'll check them out. So I'm back and hopefully you enjoy these videos. Goodbye. See you guys later.